The presumption against violation of international law says that unless there is a clear intention to do so, the Indian Parliament will not normally pass any laws that violate international law, especially if India is a signatory to the convention, the treaty, the agreement, or the declaration that is being potentially violated. So, while interpreting any Indian law, if there are multiple interpretations that are possible, the court will choose the option that upholds India's international commitments and not violate international laws. Typically, we can see examples of this in human rights laws, because Indian laws may be modeled on the basis of international human rights declarations and covenants. Or we see examples in commercial law and intellectual property rights, because India is a signatory to several international agreements or treaties and also a member of the World Trade Organization. And also in the area of environmental laws, where again India is an active participant in several international conventions and declarations. While interpreting human rights laws, Indian courts will choose the option that aligns with international instruments like the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Similarly, interpretation of trade laws and IPR laws will be aligned with India's obligations under the WTO and other agreements. And environmental laws are interpreted to uphold India's commitments under international conventions like the UNFCCC. A couple of other points to remember about this presumption are that it is not absolute, which means that if, even after interpretation, an Indian law explicitly contradicts international law, then the Indian law will prevail. And also, there may be situations where the Parliament intentionally passes a law that contravenes or violates international law. Even here, the Indian law will prevail. For example, if there is a pandemic and India needs to urgently produce some vaccines that are patented by foreign companies, then the Parliament can pass a law allowing Indian companies to manufacture such vaccines, even if this leads to violation of international intellectual property agreements that India is a part of. Of course, such intentional violations of international law are done in extremely rare situations only.